It is about you. You are the selling point, and the landscape is changing. So be your authentic self because no one wants to go to work being miserable all day. Look at your own resume, look at your own LinkedIn, and look at your impact and what you have provided for that other company. And if you write things in that context, you're going to talk to the next employer.
In my opinion, it's about giving the customer what they really want and just blowing their mind once they get it. And that's what I really love to see, honestly.
Get people to do more of home cooking, home cooked meals, healthy meals, so we can all live long and happy.
I'm very proud to be a mom because not for nothing, women are amazing.
Oh my God, the sacrifice, and how we make it look so easy.
I was just telling Joanne before we got on the call, I said, I had to run from my daughter's school. They had an Easter egg hunt. I said, all right, Mom, I gotta go to work. But, you know, just as moms, we make it happen, you know, supernatural abilities. We are the example for them, you know, and I know that with them being a better version of us.
You have to try. You never know how creative you are until you try. Because I didn't think I was creative. I found my creative side during a horrible time in my life.
At Amazing Media, we don't just create video content. We craft storylines, narratives, and memories that move people and grow brands. Whether you're a speaker, author, coach, or creative, we help you turn your vision into powerful, high-quality content that connects, converts, and leaves a lasting impression. From stunning video production and branding to unforgettable events and digital marketing, we combine strategy and storytelling to make your message unforgettable. When it comes to versatility and accessibility, video content is superior. Whether it's short, snappy social media clips or in-depth product demonstrations, there's a video format for every message and platform. Crafting video content tailored to specific audiences and marketing objectives can amplify its impact. This is why we believe in the power of storytelling and the impact of visually compelling content. In our mobile-first world, video shines with accessibility. Most internet traffic comes from mobile devices, thus resulting in endless opportunities for business owners to connect with their audience via many different platforms. The reasons companies invest heavily in video marketing are crystal clear. It's an attention-grabbing, engaging, and versatile tool that captivates your story, connect with your audience, and convert your leads for measurable results. As consumer demand for video continues to soar and technology makes production more accessible, the future of marketing belongs to those who harness the storytelling power of video. So, are you ready to elevate? Your story deserves to be seen, heard, and felt. Let's make it
Hey guys, it's Kelly, your community engagement specialist here with Juneteenth NY. And today we can welcome you to the Lunch and Learn. I'm so excited to be here. This is, I believe, my third Lunch and Learn, so I'm still getting kind of used to everything. So welcome to today's Sacred Gathering, a Lunch and Learn session where culture meets creativity and strategy flows from the soul. So today we're diving deep into a revolutionary conversation that transcends algorithms, ads, budgets, and brand hype. We're taking grassroots marketing, the art of building movements from the ground up, the power of word to mouth, as gospel and community as currency. Guiding us through this journey is Bobby Stone, the visionary known as the leader of the new old school. A musician, a licensed mental health therapist, a filmmaker, a designer, event planner, and culture architect. Bobby Stone brings together heart, hustle, and healing in everything he touches. He got the Midas touch. He's nothing He's not here to sell you a template. He's here to show you how authenticity, relationships, and storytelling can spark revolution. From curating packed events without traditional promo to building loyal followings through intention and impact, Bobby has mastered the blueprint of grassroots elevation. Today, he invites you to rethink how you reach people, not as customers, but as co creators. He shares his lived experiences, creative campaigns, and soul centered strategies. You'll discover how grassroots marketing isn't just a method, it's a movement. So, here, let's lean in, get inspired, and prepare to plant seeds that grow movements. This is Bobby Stone, and this is how we'll build from the bottom up until the world takes notice. Let's give a warm welcome to Bobby Stone.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Bobby, thank you for joining us. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Oh, what an awesome introduction. Yes, I'm Bobby Stone, leader of the New Old School. And what is the New Old School? The New Old School is the brand that I named about maybe 15 years ago. This is actually our 15-year anniversary too, by the way.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. And I guess as I tell that story, you'll hear a little bit of grassroots marketing too, as well. And so pretty much I, as an MC growing up in Brooklyn, I wanted to expand my brand, and the typical or traditional way, Kelly, what do you think I wanted to do to get on?
The traditional way, what, around that time?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was like CDs, DVD, what?
Yeah, you got it. You got it. You got it.
It was out of the trunk then.
Yeah, yeah. But even before that, you're right. Even before that, though, was somebody going to see my talent and discover me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, with all due respect, my vision was, remember, I'm watching Bad Boy. I'm watching Biggie. You know, a lot of people have this negative connotation to Diddy, but let's just go back. I'm watching Biggie, Mace. Mace got a deal. You know, Jadakiss, Styles P. I want to be down with them. Then Def Jam, Wu-Tang, right? It's like, so, and then my brothers, the goal was to be a part of this label thing, right? And so that's actually the opposite of grassroots marketing, you know? And so as I realized, the harder that became, whether people say that the industry is compromised or not, it seemed to be more difficult. I realized early on that two things were going to happen. Somebody's going to discover me, or I'm going to have to do things myself.
Right.
And thus, this is where you have the New Old School. Under the umbrella of the New Old School, you'll find the New Old School Film Company. You'll find Mr. Jones Therapy, me as a licensed therapist doing public speaking and, you know, community initiatives. I worked on Rikers Island with inmates. I'm working in hospitals and psych wards right now with, I'm doing a lot in the community.
Grassroots, right?
Yeah. And you'll also find my music on my New York City Earth Day fashion show that we do every year, you know, celebrating models that don't get opportunities to model, actors that don't get to act. And it all kind of correlates.
Okay, that sounds good. So you're the leader of the New Old School, right? Mm-hmm. What does that title mean to you? And how did it just come about? Like, how did you create that title and what does it mean to you?
Yes. And so prior to me creating that title, I signed a deal with an independent label. It was called Newborn Entertainment. Childhood friend and his wife, they had the money, they put up the money. I'm grateful for them as well. But I was like 21. I remember coming home. My mother was like, "You signed what?"
Yeah.
And even then, I learned the power of what it looks like when you don't do it yourself. As much as I appreciate them, you don't get to pick what songs you want to do. You don't get to, you know, pick the album cover you want to do. Like the album cover was something I really didn't kind of want, you know, but I did it because they were paying for it, right? And so early on, I learned the power of autonomy, you know, the power of self-sufficiency, being able to control, having creative control. And so the New Old School was this idea where I could create my own record label. And that's where I started selling my own CDs, to your point. Right? And so selling my own CDs, then me and my friends got together. They started coming with me downtown Brooklyn, selling CDs with me. And I didn't even know that was grassroots marketing at the time. And so it'd be 20 of us downtown Brooklyn selling my single for like $3, walking down the block. I think some people were buying because it was just a lot of us, but some people were just supporting. And then that turned into me years later doing radio. And when I started doing radio, that led to more independent artists that were trying to get deals, trying to get on the radio, but nobody plays them on the radio. But guess who do? Bobby Stone. And so I would go to events, sometimes to perform, all the time to perform. That's my joy. But at the end, I'd be like, any artists who don't get their music played and the industry, you roll with me and I'm going to play your music and I don't want your money. And artists would send me their tunes. And on Blog Talk Radio had a system where you could just call up, people could hear their songs, their aunties would call, their grandmother would call to hear their grandson on the radio, right? And so the radio show turned into, so imagine getting 20 artists, you're playing their music, but who's listening to it? Kelly's aunt is listening. Kelly's grandmother is listening. They playing my daughter on the radio, right? But
my baby.
That's my baby. Same thing with the fashion show. Who's coming to the fashion show? The girl that never gets picked, she has a mother and a grandma and an aunt. And guess what? When they all come, I'm clapping for my girl, right? They screaming for her. Same thing with the independent artists at my open mics, right? Or my concerts. I'm coming to see you perform, right? So me being hurt, which is the root, we talking about the grass a little bit, but let's get back to the root. Me being denied, me being told no by the industry, me being, oh, your music ain't right. I don't rap about shooting, killing my brothers. I don't rap about taking people's wives. You know what I'm saying? It's not what I hear. I hear a lot of that on the radio. So I kind of can make my own assumption of why Bobby Stone might not be allowed in certain doors, right? Me supporting my community as well. So all of those things end up playing a role. After the radio started events. I had all of these artists. Let's do events. Hey, I bring them all on the stage. I'm hosting. Not all, but a lot of promoters are charging them to perform. You can perform for free at my event. And so if you look at some of the grassroots movements in the past, or current, Greta Thunberg, the girl from Sweden, right? She started the climate change thing with her friends, the Friday, and she has the president calling her out, beefing with her, cursing her, right? About climate change, right? But that started with a lot of voices. Obama, right? So grassroots, it's not an idea of if it works. It's evidence-based that it works. I think one of the issues is, just to wrap up the story and a little bit of the journey, after the shows led to me doing so much events and popular events that I went from an artist to a radio show host to an event planner to owning the bar that I was doing the events at. I ended up selling calamari. Like the grassroots, it's endless. I never planned to do that.
I like that. So, what it sounds like to me is that it's funny because on the side, I have another podcast and it's focused on Black economic advancement. And that's through music, food, and creativity, which is all three of those avenues we've progressed in. So, just listening to what you're doing, how it seems as though you're going after the underdogs, giving them the opportunity. What I love about this is that you're taking your creativity back.
Yes.
Like that's what you're doing. Like the new old school. I don't know. It's real slick. Wait, when's your birthday?
July 11th.
Okay, he's
coming up.
Coming through.
Yes, the season is coming.
It's coming through. Okay, I'm so excited. We got to talk on the side too. Okay, let me go with this script.
Yes. You're on the same page.
Like I said, because I love that. Just taking our creativity back as a people. When we're thinking about Juneteenth, when we're thinking about resilience, when we're thinking about some of the things that have happened to us, the blackface, the entertaining, I want to get a deal,
yes.
And we're ready to sell whatever for that deal and do whatever, having an avenue where we can just take back our creativity through grassroots movements. I mean, that's real sneaky.
Absolutely. And Kelly, think about it. You see how you said taking creativity back?
Yeah.
When I started doing the fashion show, so one of the things at the events, the open mic events, the thing that used to irritate me, anything that triggers you, you need to explore and embrace, right? And that used to trigger me. You pay $250, you could be in Hip Hop Weekly. One time I beat like 18 dudes. I got the footage. I beat like 18 dudes. And they gave me part of my prize, but they never gave me the Hip Hop Weekly prize. And I would email them like, yo, what's up with my prize? Well, oh, you could come to the next event. I don't want to come to the next event. I want my prize, right? I worked for that. I did my role. I brought my family out. I got my outfit. I did all of this to win. And so to this day, I never got that prize. But guess what, Kelly? When I started diversifying my brand, spreading that grass and roots into fashion, my fashion show ended up in Hip Hop Weekly.
Oh, nice! Congratulations.
Yeah, y'all can keep y'all prize. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So it's crazy because it sounds like you do so much. So with so many creative lanes, right? You're a musician, you're a therapist, you're a filmmaker, you're a designer. Like, how do you define who you are at the core?
I think, I know mostly how I define who I am at the core is musically in that studio. I feel like that's my therapy. If I'm not doing that, everything else would just flop. Like, it would just flop. Like, that's the foundation of everything. A lot of the people that met me in the beginning met me through my songs, right? Met me cheering for me at some of these open mics. And so, not losing piece of what started me, right? Because the fashion could take you a whole nother place. The film could take you a whole nother place.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do have to check myself, like, yo, don't forget why you started this and like why you here, right? That's one of the reasons I left the bar, right? Because I stopped doing music, right? It's like, oh, we need more chicken wings. Oh, now we gotta order ice. And now, the AC is out. And now it's like, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you gotta come back. Yeah. And it's like, yo, I never signed up for the Sell Calamari. I'm out. Yeah. And as soon as I left, my albums came out more, right? Yeah. More creative. And so that's a great question, right? Not letting the fruits of your labor, which can be dope, define you, right? Like music defines me. Me being able to share how I feel about what's going on with my sons, right? Yeah. Me being able to share on record that like the things I can't say in court, right? About not seeing my son, right? Like I get to say that creatively. And if I was on a label, I probably wouldn't be able to say that. And so you just made me write down taking creativity back, because when people came to the bar, they didn't even realize they was listening to my music while they was eating. While people are walking down the runway,
they're like,
yeah. While they watching my film, my music is in the background of the film. Right, and so it all correlates. And mental health.
About the artist walking around serving the food while the music playing.
There you go.
That is so nice. I love that. So, how has your work as a licensed mental health therapist influenced your approach to art, business, and community engagement?
Oh man, it's brought me to a place where I wish I had it years before. It's brought me a whole lot more patience. So, for example, I work with a lot of creatives. And it's easy to just be like, I ain't messing with nobody no more, But then that would go against the goal of community and Umoja, where I got this beautiful award from y'all, this beautiful crown from.
Shout out to our Black Kings.
Black Kings, past, present, and future. I wanted to say that when an artist back in the days, I would look like you just didn't show up to my event. As a promoter, it's like, oh, you wasted my money, you wasted my time. As a mental health therapist, I'm like, you have anxiety? You have stage fright? Tell me how that makes you feel. Like, how are you going to cope with that?
I think that's so dope too. Cause like, even when I seen you, I had no idea like that you was like licensed, you understand, like therapist, all of these things. Like I had no idea. Dope. And I'm just like, wow, like being able to connect with, like, first of all, men, of course, and then community through your creativity. I was just thinking, even I was writing some things down as creativity, for our community as therapy, because you're a licensed mental health therapist. So do you see that as being a way to where we can heal our communities? Because you were speaking about how music is healing to you and it's therapy to you. Yeah. Do you believe that those are ways in which we can heal our community? Especially because sometimes, like you said, we're always hearing the spin the block, the ops, private parts. You understand? Like, how can we then turn the sound, into like sound waves and music and all of these hertz, that can heal us from the inside out as a community.
Absolutely. Because there's a voice for that too, right? And so it's like it shouldn't be the only thing we hear, though, right? And that's a more of a gatekeeper issue, maybe. But to answer your question, I was talking to a client last night about it, and let's take a perfect example. White woman, Long Island, expressing to me that she wants to her mother-in-law, her husband's mother, keeps asking her to take her to get her hair done, take her to get her feet done, take her to get that. Oh, she don't like the color the next day. Very affluent, And she says, I said, what do you want to say to her? She said, I just, want her to just like give me a break sometimes. I said, what do you really want to say to her? She said, well, I said, miss, ain't nobody watching. You in your car. What you want to say to her? I want to tell her to leave me the F alone and leave it. Blah, blah, blah. And she just let it out. Her face turned red. And then she bust out laughing. She said, that felt so good. Thank you, right? And so she's never going to say that to her mother-in-law. But you see how she was able to speak her truth?
Right.
And that's that creative art. That might be through dance. That might be through painting. That might be through MCing. That might be through cooking. Anything. That might be through working out. Create muscles. You know what I'm saying? Right? And so another client, same thing. He said, yo, my wife, she's taking so long to move this stuff. What do you want to tell her, man? I just, I know I got to have empathy. You telling me what you think the therapist want to hear. Tell her. I want to tell her to hurry the F up, man. Oh, thank you for that, man. I'll never say it to her. But this is where these creative spaces, because when you don't speak your truth, come on, Juneteenth. When we don't speak our truth, when we don't speak up, come on, Toussaint, come on, Haiti, come on, Martin Luther King, come on, Malcolm X, come on, Marcus Garvey. When we don't speak up, not just revolutions, let's talk about mental health. It sends a negative signal to our nervous system. All the time. I want to say something, but I
do it to you. That is
and your body. What, Kelly, what happens to your body after that? What do you think happens?
You start getting, like, I guess they say dis-ease, like you're at a dis-ease and within your nervous system.
Yes.
Like, they just jumping everywhere.
Yes. Matter of fact, Kelly, you just gave me goosebumps. How did that happen? A thought went in my head. Right? A thought went in my head. You said something. It sent neurotransmitters, sent a signal to my nervous system. And look at that. It came through my skin. So what would a negative thought do? If I think negatively and wouldn't it come through my skin as eczema maybe? Wouldn't it come through my skin as some, right? You ever hear people say, I'm so stressed out, I'm breaking up.
Yeah,
right? Through your skin. And so you not being able to speak, create is a negative, it creates negative potential implications for your health. Forget about trying to look nice on a video. It's good for your health.
Yes.
It's good. You can live longer. Yes. How about not wanting to die? Is that a good example? Now, is that good enough? Wanting to live.
We need that. I love that. Hold on. We're going to talk. Okay, listen. Tell me, this is so good. I love this. I'm so glad we're talking. This is going to be great. I'm looking to do a lot of work with you with Juneteenth through the community engagement. This is going to be great work. I mean, everything that you just said about us not being able to speak up and our creativity and being held back, within the inside, creating all of this ease within us, and our functioning is off. So I love that. Tell me, what role has music played in shaping your voice and message, both creatively and culturally?
Creatively and culturally. Well, culturally, I'll start with my father's from Antigua, my mother's from Marcy Projects, and there's this duality,
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I was in Antigua in December, and like hanging with my uncles is just like, imagine uncles from Marcy Projects, right? Like any projects, right? It's like, yo, y'all, I wish y'all were in the room together. It would just be so weird,
Yeah, the crossroads.
Yeah, like,
Dope, though.
Y'all eating Popeyes and 40s. They eating stew snapper and
Guinness.
punch. It's just funny. It's just funny. But culturally, being able to share both of those worlds are very important for me. You know what I'm saying? Like my father told me a story of he remembers his mother picking cotton. You know what I'm saying? And my mother remembers being in the South and watching her family go through stuff. And it's just interesting that and important that I reflect that in my music because there's some disparities in between our worlds when at the root, grassroots, cotton roots. Um, at the root, you know, they didn't treat my father's ancestors or my mother's ancestors any differently because they were from right. And so me
You
being
gotta wake up.
you know, that's why Marcus Garvey is one of my heroes, man. He called us imbeciles if we can't get it together, if we don't unite like other races have done, if you don't do what other races have done. He said you will die. He didn't say you'll be poor. He said you'll die, you know. And so this concept, you Grenadian, you Trini, you Puerto Rican, you American, oh, it's so annoying. Is that like I want to promote more unity culturally, my music creatively. Oh man, like if people go on my YouTube channel, look at my comments. Before you look at my videos, you can look at the comments, right? Like I look for concepts. I'm known as the concept king. I make concepts. For example, I got a song called If There Were Three of Me. I wish there were three of me, right? And it's a song about what the world would look like if I had three different people. One taking care of my sons, one taking care of work, one being a rapper. Like I come from Bismarck East.
About that. I need three of me.
Yeah, I'm from Bismarck East, Slick Rick, those kind of vibes, you know. And so creatively, I also get to keep their legacy going because I don't see a lot of people representing them, you know. And so I represent those guys, the new old school.
So special, like for you, like that's so cool, you know. And that's definitely one thing that's especially music, like I love the like Caribbean like sound, and then of course you know we love the Black American sound, like being able to intertwine those things, and when we really get to understand like deep history, how long you know the Caribbean people have been coming back and forth, and actually where slavery started first, and where they removed people first, and all of this, it really can bring us together. Like you said, the creativity is just it's wonderful. I love that. That sounds so good for you.
It is.
So can you tell me, how do you balance your different talents while staying grounded in your mission and purpose? Because you have a lot going on. Like, how do you ground yourself?
Yeah, well, the word grounding, staying present, right? Like everything isn't gonna be done in a timely manner. It just saying I learned to accept things I can't control, the courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like I honestly, I think 90% of the people I deal with every day in therapy are people struggling with trying to control things they can't control.
Yeah.
Right? I told him to text me around lunchtime. He didn't text me. Something you can't control. I told her to not stop texting people. Not your phone, bro. Something you can't control. I told my boss didn't give me enough hours. Something you can't control. Like it's all day. Like I'm going to the, you know what I'm saying? And so I try to, it's hard. I try to constantly remind myself it's something I can't control. I got sons, right? Certain things I want them to do. And it's like, bro, you know, it's certain things you gotta let them live, you know. And so I try to ground myself and keep reminding myself, what can I do? I could create this video right now. I could finish editing. I could finish the script, right? I could, you know, I could read this book. You know what I'm saying? I could think about what I'm gonna wear to Black Kings. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
exactly.
And so try not to get too caught up in ruminating over things, but reflecting. I try to make a difference between, because ruminating, we start to think too much. What if this don't happen? What if this happened? And that's where all that's the real. Yeah. What if you just said, what if everything worked out? Well, you know what I'm saying? And so easier said than done, but that's how I try to ground myself, man. I try to stay. I've been practicing a lot of solitude, you know, backyard, feeding birds, just staying away from voices and just Yeah.
So can you tell me about a time when your creative work deeply impacted someone in your community?
My creative works. Oh yeah, I could think of.
1,000.
I could think of a few. My fashion line. When I got to the bar, well, this is twofold. When I got to the bar, Brooklyn Nights, there was a publicist who had Tierra Marie booked to do an event, and the place he had it booked at canceled on him or it didn't work out. And he was like, "Brother, can you please do me this favor last minute?" And I did. Not like I had much going on, but she came. I met her. That footage is up too. I met her. And when the night ended, he was like, "Yo, I owe you the world, man. If you ever need anything." And so almost like 6-7 years passed. I started doing my Ivet. My clothing line is Ivet. It's the onomatopoeia of a DJ scratching the record. Hashtag Ivet, 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 Ivet.
Yeah.
Old school again. And
I
so,
cannot with the creativity.
yeah, let's go. Let's go. So I'm on Facebook one day, and this dude has Times Square billboards promoting brands. So I said, let me see if you remember the statement about if I need anything, because I can't afford no Times Square.
Do you recall?
Man, this dude was like, send me the pictures, anything. And he said one day he was just like, yo, go outside. I live in Brooklyn. He's like, yo, go to Times Square around this time.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't keep doing this for you, but I got you, like I said. And he put up the like 2-3 models of not me, not my face.
Yeah.
Back to Grassroots. This will come back. I could have put my face of me in my hats. I put models that never been on the billboard before.
Yeah.
Plus size too. The big girls up there.
Oh, so they was excited.
Oh man. They to this day.
Right? Oh yeah, of course. That was like almost a life-changing event.
And it's still up, man. You know, I think I remember I can't remember all of them.
Bobby Stone, can you put me next?
You see what I'm saying? You see? And then think about Grassroots and mental health and fashion, right? Fashion, boom, Times Square. And it's not like millions of people went on my website. It wasn't really about that. But fashion up on the billboard, these sisters feeling empowered.
Yeah.
Right? They on Instagram. Yesterday's price ain't today's price.
Yeah.
You know, they got footage. They feel good, right? I feel good. The publicist returned his favor to me. I feel good about what I did 8 years ago. So Grassroots is about Grassroots is about planting seeds.
Full circle.
Grassroots is about planting seeds too.
Agree. So let's talk about that then, Grassroots. How do you define, right, grassroots marketing, and how is it different from like traditional marketing?
Grassroots marketing, I like to look at it as roots grass marketing. But I said if I put roots grass marketing, they're gonna think I'm crazy. But the reason, and I'll start with why it's different. Traditional marketing, let's look at think of some famous R&B groups from the past. You mentioned any.
What do they have? SWV, In Vogue.
Yep. TLC.
TLC.
Right. And so the label comes, discovers the talent, brings them to the world. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Boom. We love it. We absorb it. The people, we see our people. We already love them. We love the music. They dance like us. They moving like us. We grab it up. Traditional marketing. Boom. Right. What turns out for the artists from that traditional marketing? Usually, what do we hear? Are they happy campers?
Not really.
Not really. They usually probably got pennies off of millions of records. I think TLC was like, I think they had to split $100,000 or something.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that story. That's what they was talking about.
Yeah,
the money they had got.
Yeah, but guess what? That's the same thing I was fighting for, right? I want to be down with Biggie. I want to be down with Mace. Yeah. And it's so funny. Biggie's dad and Diddy's in jail. That's a whole nother thing, right? But it's like, look what I was wanting so bad.
Right.
That life, that whatever was going on in that world, you know what I'm saying? And so that's my idea, just from a music perspective of traditional marketing. Now, what if they would have went the grassroots route? Yo, you go get your friends from high school. I get my friends from high school. We're going to do these shows. We're going to do these open mics. We're going to start doing our own events. We're going to start doing our own stuff. You go get your friends. You go get your friends. We're going to do this every weekend. We're going to do fashion. T-Bars is nice with the fashion. We're going to do our own fashion show events. No, it doesn't. And this Atlanta too? This Atlanta? T-Bars, da-da-da-da. Oh, they trying to rob us. You know T-Bars bust her gun, right? Boom. Yo, Chili's over here. Chili's the sexy cute one. We gonna help her with the fashion. You know, they would love to see a TLC film, wouldn't they? You know, people ain't gonna buy that. You see what I'm saying? And so they prettier than me. It's 3 of them, they more than me. And I just always wonder when I look at these groups that mention that went that route, what if they all went the grassroots route? What if Tupac went the grassroots route? Mm-hmm. What if Biggie went the grassroots route?
Is the grassroots route now, is it like, it's basically doing all the work yourself? That way you obtain all the profit and you get to still keep your creativity? Because it's
be that way.
Lose access to their own like creativity once they enter into an industry, their image change, the music gets to change, but they do get more, you know, publicity and they're out there.
Absolutely. They get more publicity. So I feel like they get a lot of grass, not a lot of roots.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so the roots part is what you were saying earlier. I even wrote it down. What you said? You said ground up, right? The ground up. Most people go to Home Depot and buy the plant. How much people really want to Google a seed, put the seed in the actual dirt, wait for the sun to hit it, then come up? That's why in school they were giving us those little white plastic cups to be like, slow down, y'all. This is the process. Follow the process. This is the law, right? Follow the law. I believe in the Most High. I believe that the Most High can do traditional marketing and make a tree in front of both of us right now. I believe he has that power. I believe he won't do it because he believes in his own law. And the law is seed has to be planted and water has to hit it and time needs to happen and growth and da-da-da. And that's the grassroots. I believe most people don't want to do that.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you think that that's one thing that could possibly be holding us back as a community?
So to your point, I started the New Old School and Bobby Stone in 2010. People just showing me a little bit of light in 2015.
Yeah.
I agree with them. Yeah. And y'all don't come up and hurry up with these contracts, right? It's like, right? But guess what? The further I've gotten, the more I don't want them.
Yeah.
What they gonna give me? What they gonna give me? In a few years, I open my own practice. I can make 6 figures. They gonna give me a 6-figure deal? I haven't know. I'm cool, right? I gotta make it there. You know what I'm saying? That you're gonna come now and tell me this thing I've been marketing and promoting on the Times Square, but you're gonna help me get it on the billboard? I did it myself.
Yeah.
I dropped the album last month. I'm dropping the album next month for my birthday. That's 2 albums this year.
Yeah.
But there are albums with major labels right now. And Drake didn't drop 2 albums this year. Kendrick didn't drop 2 albums this year. And I get to say what I want. Right? Now, is it going to be broadcast to the world like this? No, it's not. But guess what? I got some roots of people that have been following me for 10 years that as soon as I post, they streaming.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. You know,
and that was the last piece. Are you willing to now do this? So back to just grassroots real quick. My first event was horrible. Maybe 2-3 people came. My ex at the time, my girl at the time, security, and maybe a bouncer or a bartender. It was it was one of the coldest nights. It was windy, and I was yelling at her like, "Yo, where your friends at? Where your friends at?" That's me displacing, not even know what displacement was at the time, but blaming her. Where your friends at? You didn't tell your friends to come. And so that was even worse because when her friends came, what you thought they said? Where everybody at? L. And now she looks embarrassed, and they left. But I learned something. The 1-2 people that came, I made them the celebrities. And I started using those 2 people. Next time when I do an event, y'all get in free, and you get 3 people free, and And those people, yeah, I started boasting them up, like making them big. And then when the next 10 people came, 10 people, those 10, stop worrying about people that don't come. Worry about the people that do come, because the root is also the product. And if the product is good, if you really believe in the product, why wouldn't you want to put 15 years into it? Why would you want to put 5 minutes into it? Let somebody come see. Kelly, never let anyone see your talent before you, beautiful.
Agree.
Because they're going to come and they're going to say, she don't even know she dope. Boom, I'm going to do an 80-40 deal on 60-40 deal on her.
360. Not the 360. That's so funny when you're talking about grassroots, and really just doing the work. I've been with Juneteenth for about 3 years now. And that reminds me of what she's done actually with this Juneteenth organization that she's created, and how she's been on the ground, for 16 years doing some work, and how it's really becoming even more of a big thing. And when I hear about it and I see her, I just feel like, even after 16 years, she's still, now it's her season. Again, like you said, even after, 16 years, it's like now people are like, Juneteenth is holiday.
Yes.
So it's like, even now she has the opportunity, because she's been in the game for 16 years now, and she's now a root to go back and,
absolutely. And no one can take that. No one can take that.
Yeah. So I think that's awesome what you're talking about.
The wise man built his house on a rock or a stone in the cement. Yeah.
And we definitely got to do that now. That's why these things are important. Like, we definitely have to do that, like building our house on, stable ground, on a foundation. What do we stand on? Our beliefs, our foundations, our morals, our standards as a community, and then begin to build. And so that's definitely key. So tell me, what are some key elements that one must have to successfully execute, grassroots marketing today?
Oh man, Kelly. Empathy.
Yeah.
Empathy.
Sympathy?
No, empathy.
Oh, okay.
Empathy. Sympathy can help, I'm sure. But the reason why I say empathy is because for me to say, I'm not going to put my face on the billboard and I'm going to put a girl from Philly to make her day, or I'm going to put my homeboy, that you will have to have empathy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You will have to put your ego aside. You will have to say, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so a part of my grassroots, I think one of the most essential is, I said it the other day on Instagram, being that I work with comedians, models, actors, actresses, all domains, one thing I notice about a lot of them, if not most, they don't support each other. And what I mean by that is, I go to a comedy show, I don't see, some comedians won't go unless they're performing. Some rappers won't go unless they're performing. Some models won't go unless they're walking down the runway. And they're missing out on crowds of people to network with. They're missing out on a promoter that could book them. They're missing out on just building a grassroots marketing campaign because they're not performing. Me, I'm at I'm at the baby shower. I'm at the, I'm at the wedding.
Yeah.
Right. And so what happens is, some people say, for real, Kelly, people said to me the other day,
Bobby Stone, what is you doing here in my
Yep. And do that every Saturday, every month. There's 4 Saturdays in a month. There's 4 people at least to support in that month. Do that for 15 years. You know what happens? You know what people say? I really want to go to Red Lobster, but I'm going to come to your bar just because it's you.
Yeah.
I don't really like fashion shows, Bobby, but since it's you, here come Bobby with another one of his stupid ideas again. I guess we got to go. It turns into family, community. Bobby was there for me at something he probably didn't want to be at. You know what I'm saying? And it's also key to know that you have to go into this not expecting Kelly from other people, not expecting Bobby from other people, right? I gave up counting how much people I've done those things for and
Right.
haven't turned back, right? It's not healthy for me. There's so much other people that need opportunities and are grateful and won't take you for granted.
Agree. So in a world driven by algorithms, right, and ads, how do you keep authenticity at the center of your promotional work? So, with this social media and everything seems so fake. Like, okay, run back, set phone up. Like all of the movements kind of that are going on are pre-recorded, fake. Like it's not what
Yeah.
you actually see is going on. Like,
Mhm.
how do you keep that authenticity with your work?
Yeah. Um, one, you said word to mouth. I wrote it down because I come from the flyer world, passing out flyers. You know what I'm saying? And so, not that I do much of it now. I'm just. You ever heard of Amway?
Amway, no.
Amway was a marketing company. Is a marketing company. But when I was young, I was always into like different ideas, and Amway was a company. And I asked my mother, "Could you help me get with Amway, this company?" And she's like, "Here you go, another one of his stupid ideas." But she bought me like this kit, and it was like a marketing company. It's almost like what people do with a little bit of Prime America now. But Amway was like one of the leading beasts in this world. But they taught me something. They taught me that you should meet 10 people every day. Yeah, they said no, not every day, every week. You should meet at least 10 people a week. And so me being a new cadet in the program, I'll be on the train. And I'll go sit next to a lady, be like, "Hi, how you doing? I'm Dathan." And then get up and walk away. Like, this nigga crazy, this brother crazy, right? And so the point I'm making is that authentic me, like we're having this conversation. When I go to a comedy show later or a bar later, someone next to me is gonna get this same kind of vibe, right? And then that turns into, do you have an Instagram? Do you have a thing, right? Like sometimes people like, you got Instagram, you got this, and it's like, what happened to hi and how you doing and what do you do? And tell me a fun fact about yourself. What do you like? What are you grateful for? And so that's on my Instagram. That's my live, right? It should be just a tool, but it shouldn't change. The tool shouldn't define the authenticity. So you're gonna see the authenticity in the film. We're talking about brotherhood and how we don't like betrayal. In the fashion show, you're not gonna see ratchetness. You're just not. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna show us in a nice, classy kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? Unlike they like to show us. You're muted, Kelly.
So what advice would you give any creatives or people with a small budget that's looking to come up?
Even cheaper. Like the grassroots thing is like, if you have 10 people taking care, so let's say a fashion show venue is $5,000, and you have people on the grassroots movement kind of vibe, not money making vibe, right? So having a grassroots mentality is important, right? Because if we're all trying to make money off this venue, it's not gonna work, right? The venue costs $5,000. There's 10 of us. We could break that down easy. Right? Or let's say the venue's $1,000 and there's 10 of us. Let's make it even more simpler, right? How can we show Kelly's brand, my brand, your cooking brand? You know, you got to cook, girl. You a mixer, you're a mixologist, right? You gonna do drinks. How are we going to get all it? That's not expensive if it's 10 of us putting towards the venue. Right. And so the grassroots thing and building solidarity and community with like-minded people, right, makes it cheaper. And it's a win-win. And it's a win-win. Because guess what now? Kelly is her auntie coming, my auntie coming. Me and your auntie gonna meet. Hey, girl, Dathan, Kelly, Bobby, well, yeah, Juneteenth, conversation. The girl mixing gonna come. Boom. Imagine doing that for 15 years.
So are you saying rebuilding our communities will actually be cheaper than what we think it would be?
Absolutely. There's a quote that goes, African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone.
Yeah.
If you want to go far, go together. Why would our ancestors leave that for us? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Right?
Okay, I love that. Okay, we're almost coming to the end of the interview. We've been having such a good conversation. I've definitely
I
been
agree.
enjoying your company. I love everything that you do, even all the way down to just your grassroots organization, and your school, your new school, old school. Like, that you're into music, like film writing, fashion. Like, you have so many different avenues in which you are actually reaching the community, and I just love that. I love people who can dish out their self in so many different ways, and still now you're a licensed therapist, social worker, and it's like your mind is still able to do all of that, and
Thank
you're
you.
taking in other people's like craziness and
Yes.
problems, and you got your own stuff going on, and you putting this together and that, and you're still like healthy and healing in your own way. So I really
Thank
love
you
that.
for that. Thank you
I
for that
really do.
acknowledgement. I
I just
really
have
appreciate
three more questions. So tell me, because this is Juneteenth, so what does Juneteenth mean to you?
it. I've answered this question in so many different ways. And
Yeah.
so I guess as each Juneteenth passes, I add on more to it.
Right.
And so I think for this Juneteenth, it means to me mostly about mental liberation. Every time I read about the time we learned about our freedom, right? It's like the we learn part just always makes me explore more. And so we were free, right? So we was free before that, and so we've been free. We always been free. Like they told us we weren't free. And you know,
Yeah, man. Yes, the
and
mental
so
structure. Yes.
and so for me, not just being not stuck, but being able to reflect on that part of history and really looking at like, am I really free? Like that's what it means. It made me question. Like I'll use like years ago, I'd be like liberation and what it means to be free, and what our ancestors been through, and all of those things are true. Um, and then just wondering like how free am I really? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I just following what everybody's repeating? Am I just
Right.
looking at what like Chat GBT is telling me about Juneteenth? Like, I really need to sit in solitude because my answer next year is going to be very much different. But to answer your question now, mental liberation, like, am I mentally free? Because nobody ever had control over that, right? And so I think I need to answer that individually within myself before I can really explain it how I want to.
No, I like that because it had me thinking, the freedom to create, right? So are we actually free? Are we free to create? Like the creation or like the expression that's inside of us, basically flowing out of us,
Mm-hmm.
creation. Are we free to flow,
Yeah.
out of ourselves? Creation, is that freedom, like,
Absolutely.
so I think
To
that's
I'm glad you went like this, right? It's like I
I'm
think
very
of
excited, yeah, with my
yeah,
hands.
that's all because and I'll be quick because I know you're wrapping up. But Django, right? Remember I don't know if you remember there was a scene where he kills the slave owner, and it's like three black dudes in a cage, and the cage door opens, but they don't leave the cage.
Yeah.
They just watch, Jamie Foxx in the horse, and they literally have freedom, but like the door is open for them to run out.
Mm-hmm.
Django, well, because he understands, I guess, the perception of what freedom is, being actually to gallop away, right? And so them telling you you're free or him showing you the gate is open, are you really free if you're not going through the gate, if we're not creating?
Right. Agree.
And so I push creativity. A young elder at the Black Kings. He might have been the elder of the elders there. Got on stage, man. I hope they got footage of that, and was talking about creativity and mental health. I
Yeah, I want to get his. I'm glad you said that. That's why I say we in alignment, because I was supposed to contact him. He got an office here in Brownsville.
Okay. Oh,
He's
okay.
over the United for Brownsville. He's over there with them somewhere. So
I'm usually in Crown Heights in East New York. I need to connect with that
we're
brother.
gonna find him. Let's
He
do some grass.
he's talking about what we talking about.
Yeah, he was very excited and stoked about it. I told him as well. So we're gonna be doing some grassroots work together. All
Good.
right.
Good.
Tell me, when you get your day started or so, what is your favorite hip hop artist right now? Like, who is your favorite hip hop artist? Or like, what is a song that kind of fuels you or get your day started?
Tupac all day, every day. Tupac is my dude.
Which
He's the
one?
rebel.
Do you got a specific
It's so
song?
much. I have to go with
California.
that's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites. He has a song called would I say that one? I would go with Rare View. He has a song called Rare View. No, yeah. I see it's a song that he say, but it's Juneteenth, and you know the title is kind of
Yeah. Okay,
you know.
well, good.
But I would go with it's called Made Niggas. How about that? And he's just talking about no man separates.
Oh, yeah.
And he starts off, his first line is no man separates what we create.
Yeah.
Speaking of creativity, he says no man separates what we create. That gets my day going. Definitely in the park, workout vibes. Yeah.
All right, Bobby, that's my last question. So, how do you incorporate the principles of Kwanzaa, like Ujima and Kumba, into your work?
Well, my creative expressions stand out the most. I thought you were going to say Umoja because of my togetherness. And what was the other one you mentioned?
Let's see, Kumba.
And Kumba represents does Kumba represent creativity? Remind me, re-educate me.
Creativity.
Yeah, I think inspiring others to create. I think that is my mission, my new goals. Not that creating is getting boring, but it's kind of like, what good is it if you're not inspiring others? Now that I know the benefits of creating and the powers and the benefits it has on mental health and our physical well-being, to not see people create it's kind of disappointing, right? And so what can I do to help?
Yeah, creative energy. That's what it's talking about. Just like I said, just that creative energy within us. Is it able to freely flow? And then, like you said, say the gate is open. Why are we not freely flowing?
And to answer why we were dancing as kids. Remember the kid party, the school kids party? Why we stop dancing? Right? Yeah. Sometimes it's usually an aunt, shut up, you can't sing, girl. Shut up, you can't dance. Sometimes it's an uncle, you don't know how to rap. Right? Sometimes it's the 5 heartbeats. You ain't gonna beat because I ain't, right? You ain't gonna be nothing because I ain't nothing. And so we gotta reclaim that, reclaim our childhood. You know, the artist is the child that survived.
Bobby, thank you for pouring into us today. With your wisdom and warmth, you are a true example of what it means to thrive in purpose and wellness, our Black King, of course. And as we bring this powerful lunch and learn session to a close, right, I just want to leave you with some insights, but with a renewed sense of possibility. What Bobby Stone has shared with us today is more than a marketing session and lesson. It's a reminder that connection, authenticity, intention still matters in the world, right? That often chases speed, clicks, and trends. You know that. Bobby has shown us that grassroots marketing isn't a shortcut or a hustle. It's a commitment, right? A commitment to people over platforms, people over purpose and profit. Story over strategy, right? If it's the art of growing something real, like you said, seeds, or real slow and strong, brick by brick, relationship by relationship, from the ground up. We've heard how Bobby, as the leader of the new old school, bridges generations by honoring timeless values and remixing them to today for today's world. Whether through music and creativity or truth, he speaks his truth that uplifts our community, or visuals that heal, inspire, and prove that our effectiveness is lined with our mission. Bobby, what makes Bobby's approach revolution is not just his creativity, but his consciousness. As a licensed mental health therapist, he brings a depth of emotional intelligence that infuses campaigns with empathy and awareness and care. All right. He's reminded us that marketing isn't just about promotion, it's about invitation, about calling your people to something meaningful. All right. Something reflects values, identity, and aspirations. Throughout today's session, we've learned key lessons that your story is your strongest asset. Definitely. That you don't need a million followers to make a real impact. You need clarity, you need consistency, and you need courage. And at every flyer, every DM, and every post can be a form of ministry when you're done with purpose. Bobby has laid down the blueprint on built-in boardrooms, but in barbershops, block parties, and backyards, basements, his message reminds us that most revolutionary movements start small, right? Start local, and they start with belief in your vision. In your people and in your power and in the word of mouth. So now the question becomes, what will we build? What seeds will you plant in your own community? How will you use your story and gifts and platform, not just to sell, but also to serve? Definitely. Let us be your call to action. Let Bobby's words guide your next move, whether you're launching a brand or planning an event, releasing a project, or really just trying to figure it all out. Remember that you already have what you need in your truth, your voice, and your people. Grassroots marketing isn't just a strategy, it's a spirit, it's today's spirit that was awakening. Thank you, Bobby Stone, for pouring into us such honesty and creativity, your power. And thank you to everyone for showing up and just to learn about this transformation. We'll see you at the next gathering. Until then, stay rooted, stay real, and keep building from the ground up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.
Take care.
Thank you.
At Amazing Media, we don't just create video content. We craft storylines, narratives, and memories that move people and grow brands. Whether you're a speaker, author, coach, or creative, we help you turn your vision into powerful, high-quality content that connects, converts, and leaves a lasting impression. From stunning video production and branding to unforgettable events and digital marketing, we combine strategy and storytelling to make your message unforgettable. When it comes to versatility and accessibility, video content is superior. Whether it's short, snappy social media clips or in-depth product demonstrations, there's a video format for every message and platform. Crafting video content tailored to specific audiences and marketing objectives can amplify its impact. This is why we believe in the power of storytelling and the impact of visually compelling content. In our mobile-first world, video shines with accessibility. Most internet traffic comes from mobile devices, thus resulting in endless opportunities for business owners to connect with their audience via many different platforms. The reasons companies invest heavily in video marketing are crystal clear. It's an attention-grabbing, engaging, and versatile tool that captivates your story, connect with your audience, and convert your leads for measurable results. As consumer demand for video continues to soar and technology makes production more accessible, the future of marketing belongs to those who harness the storytelling power of video. So, are you ready to elevate? Your story deserves to be seen, heard, and felt. Let's make it